Hey, Omega.
Yes, Gunner.
You know, I saw this Craigslist ad the other day. Yesterday, rather. And apparently there's this brand new Cadillac, slightly used, on sale. It was in the Chicago area. Have you seen this?
Well, I occasionally check the Chicago Craigslist for crack, but no, I did not see that.
Oh, well, apparently it's named by this guy named Jamie? You heard of him? I don't know if he's exactly reputable or... Seems kind of, now.
A yank up north, you say?
A little bit. Alright, let's start the show. Hello everyone and welcome to Woo Get Serious. My name is Gunner and that is Omega VR.
You know, it's still near $30,000 less than the Homer.
And also joining us this week is our wonderful technical producer, Mr. Yankum GDS.
You know what? Never mind. I guess, whatever. That's how I feel about this week.
How can you feel about that this week? There have been so many good things that have happened.
And I missed everyone.
See, this is why he's the technical producer and not one of the main contributors. So, doing the actual main contributor's job, I'm going to start reading the news here, then I'm going to pass it off to Omega, and Yankum can't. So,
hey, Omega!
I give a converter there, brother. Roddy Piper's podcast returned after leaving Podcast One, following a show in April that offended Steve Austin. Piper had Will Sasso on, and the two joked about Austin, with Sasso doing his impersonation of Austin apparently took obsession to this, and had the podcast taken down, resulting in Podcast One threatening to fire Piper, which caused him to quit instead. Austin commented saying things of a personal nature were discussed, and he didn't want it floating around in cyberspace. Piper is rumored to have been released from the WWE Legends deal as a result of the incident. Roddy Piper, free and clear?
This was apparently around the time that, there were those rumors of Austin having trouble with WWE, the fact that he didn't go to WrestleMania, all that stuff. So, it's kind of hard to speculate what the deal was exactly, but it does seem kind of weird that I guess Austin has enough influence that he can get Piper's podcast taken down, and then if Piper lost his Legends deal over it, it seems kind of strange.
I bet you anything there was a beat Denver comment on there.
I don't know how anyone could be mad about anything involving Will Sasso. That man is a fucking comedy genius.
Well, if he's probably, being personally insulting, as Austin has said, I mean, I could definitely see, him doing that, but I don't see how he lost.
I don't see Sasso doing that. Sasso's a fan. I don't see Sasso doing anything that would be...
Sasso and Austin are actually friends.
I see Sasso being retarded and saying something stupid.
Right, but he wouldn't do anything... I don't see him doing anything, saying or doing anything mean-spirited or like that, because he is a wrestling fan. So, I don't know. You can't be mad at Will Sasso. That man...
Well, again, and it's Sasso and Austin are friends and everything, reaching that back years and years and years. And I think probably what it was, whatever got said was said in jest, but it's one of those things where it was, all just jokes, but, worded harshly. Like, it's a joke, but if you take it seriously, then it's kind of harsh.
Beat Deborah.
Yeah. I bet you it was that. Or something like that,
Shut up, Deborah.
A sensitive topic.
So, Piper, back on the indie circuit.
Okay. That means he's going to be headlining pretty much every, WrestleCon and Comic-Con, knockout Wizard World Comic-Con that he's going to be at, from now into infinity. So, there you go.
Moving on, TNA Executive Vice President Andy Barton is leaving the company. He has worked with Dixie Carter since 1996 and is said to know more about the state of TNA than anyone other than her. Magnus was interviewed about leaving TNA, where he revealed that he had been thinking about it for over a year and that he was one of the higher paid, higher privileged talents, effectively meaning TNA couldn't release him.
Well, Dixie had loved Magnus ever since. I think she personally
British
picked
invasion.
him. What? Oh yeah.
The British invasion.
Well, she's always had something of a British fetish, for lack of a better word.
Well, it's because the British fans are, TNA's backbone. To be perfectly honest.
Well, I think it was. I think it was even before that, because she brought in Magnus, who of course was his only real experience, I believe. Well, he had some experience, but he was famed for being a gladiator on the British version of American Gladiators, which is just called Gladiators. And as you mentioned, the British invasion, Rob Terry, who I don't think he had any experience at all. But anyway, I digress. She's point being, she really has been in love with Magnus ever since. I believe she was the one who picked him to be in the company, and then, but it's
Didn't he start off terrible? But I mean, he got better. But didn't he start off I swear I remember nobody liked him at first.
Yeah, nobody liked him or Top Terry at first. Yeah, he's a true homegrown TNA talent. He's what they wanted Crimson to be. A legitimate world champion kind of guy. And we wouldn't be talking about him without TNA. Do you guys see him going to NXT? Or is this GW TNA thing a work?
I think the latter is more likely.
It's
even if it's not, the way Magnus kind of talked about it is like he was almost doing TNA a favor by leaving because they couldn't really afford to keep up his salary, but now he can kind of do whatever he wants, and the door is open for him to come back to TNA and do stuff, and they're not obligated to pay him what they, promised him.
Well,
anyway.
You're breaking the wrestling business to a company after they pay you an obscene amount of money, and you give them a little break, like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James would. Then yeah, I could see where that would be the case.
It just seems like they're past the point of bleeding to the point where they're hemorrhaging not just money but talent.
Well, again, I think, for all of their faults, many as they are, if they are finally sort of acknowledging their situation and that they are a TV promotion and that they don't need to retain talents and that they don't need to pay certain people certain money, and that if they can sort of pull off this GFW invasion without it GFW. That sounded weird for a second. If they could pull it off without it really being a just a massive typical TNA, faction versus faction. If it's really more of a shared talent type thing rather than, it's just another angle and GFW is whatever after it's over, then maybe they can actually, succeed with what they have for once instead of trying to set the bar too high and bang their nose on it.
Yeah, it always seemed like TNA's problem was sort of, what was that? The name of the guy from the Greek myth, where he puts on the wings made of wax.
Icarus.
Yes, Icarus. Icarus puts on the wings made of wax and feathers, and then he gets a little too audacious for his own good, and it ends up, bidding him over and fucking him in the end.
I would imagine that TNA is more like Sisyphus. You try to push it up the hill, and then it just rolls back down on you with Dixie Carter's big fat face.
I think TNA is really more like Circe's, because I know a name like that as well.
I thought you were going to say it was more like Oedipus, because everybody was just trying to fuck Dixie.
I would not be surprised if Magnus is fuck Dixie.
Yeah, well, and I'm serious when I say in love with. I mean, if you've heard the way she's talked about him in interviews, I mean, talking about his looks and his chiseledness and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm just going to blow through the rest here. There's not a whole ton left. A Florida appeals judge ruled that the Hogan sex tape trial must be delayed indefinitely due to Rule 1440 of Civil Court Procedure requiring a minimum of 50 days between the last pleading and start of the trial, which was violated by Judge Campbell. Campbell did, however, rule that the monitors playing back the sex tape will only face the jurors.
So what does that mean?
Well, that Hogan had been fighting to have it only viewed by people who needed to see it, i.e. the jurors, rather than having it exposed, to everyone.
Well, I understand that part, but I mean, delayed indefinitely.
Well, basically, Campbell scheduled the trial too soon, and the violation means that until Gawker and their side are basically, until the way I'm reading it, until Gawker feels they are ready to proceed, then it won't proceed because because they've been fighting for an extension anyway. Because the FBI, as you recall, was dragging its feet in getting them those that footage that they wanted, that they claimed had.
And there was also some skerfuffle about basically, from what I understand, they have a 1 in 5 chance of actually going under because of this lawsuit. Because basically what they would have to do is, Hogan's suing for some ridiculous amount of money, like $10 million or something like that. They would have to post $10 million plus 18 months worth of interest in cash up front to be able to to be able to get this thing off of their shoulders, and they obviously are only worth 7-point-something million or something like that. So, in the worst case scenario, Hulk Hogan will bury another website brother, Jack Dude.
What's really funny is you said that, and I just now realized that means that the entirety of Gawker Media is worth less than a year's worth of PewDiePie videos.
Actually, about the same.
I thought it was 8 mil for Pewdie. Maybe it was 7 something.
It was 7.4. But beyond that.
There you go.
Yeah, Mega was going to blow through the rest. I apologize for interrupting.
Yes. Well, that kind of deserved to stand on its own, I guess. It's kind of been a topic of conversation. Anyway, Danny Davis announced that he is selling OVW, and there will be an event with the new majority owner coming up later this month, I believe. China revealed that she was turned away.
Before you go on, I want to take bets on who's buying OVW. I have $10 on Deuce.
dear God, let it be corny.
Why?
I just want it. I don't know why, but I want it.
All right, do you want to do some sort of bet?
Not really.
All right.
What do you got?
No, I'm thinking like Deuce, Cliff Compton buys OVW or something like that.
Well, I could go for that. I mean, I'd be happy if that happened. But you want to go Steam Game for Steam Game?
All right, that works for me. $10.
$10 Steam Game. All right.
Yep. All right. If neither of us are right, then it's a push.
Okay.
A push to me.
A push to you.
Yeah, we each have to buy. No, we're not each buying Omega a $10 game.
I'm gonna place a bet on a 99-cent game that it's Batista.
I hope you're right, just so that we both have to buy you that game, because I have a pretty good idea of 99-cent game that I would like to get you.
Oh no, I already have it in my inventory. He already knows what he's getting, and you already own it.
You like horses, Omega?
Moving on.
Alright.
Horses.
Trying
I
to
do like a
reveal that
Shetland,
she
everyone.
trying to reveal she was turned away at WWE HQ after taking photos. I assume that means she was probably outside just taking pictures, and security came out and was like, yeah, go along. No, she was in the lobby. Yeah, I would imagine she's not welcome there at all after all the shit she said about
Well, she tried to, I think she talked to whoever was there trying to set up, meetings or whatever, and they just gave her the heave-ho was all. She knows a little something about the heave.
Oh!
Chelsea Green, who played Daniel Bryan's physical therapist and did not make the cut for Tough Enough, is actually going to be on the show after all. Because Diana left the program due to a friend of hers working at her bar being paralyzed after an altercation with a customer. Green is also a grad of the Storm Wrestling Academy.
Well, then, I would imagine if she made it through Storm,
that's going to be so awkward.
Good.
That's going to be so awkward.
Wait, she's not the one that they asked what was the best joke Lance Storm ever told you, and she was like, she just couldn't comprehend the question.
Daniel Bryan is on the judging panel for Tough Enough. This is the girl who on Raw accused Daniel Bryan of cheating.
Oh, that one. I completely forgot about that. That is going to be fantastic.
Which, by the way, Tough Enough is still pretty dumb.
Oh my God, it is.
I knew that as soon as they called Sarah Lee as the third, it was Sarah and ZZ and Daria as the as the bottom three, and I was like, goodbye, Daria. Because I hope they realize what they're doing, putting these fan favorites up against, even if they're justified being there, these fan favorites up against the drama queens.
Okay, I haven't even paid attention to the chicks, but I did catch a little bit of Tough Enough this week with the with the gimmick battle. The girl who walked in with the boss gimmick, she's going to win, I think. And then it's going to be the black guy. What's his name?
Shelton Benjamin?
Yeah, Shelton Benjamin plus.
Patrick, I believe.
Patrick.
I don't know. I think the field is a little wider for the men. I think you have Tanner, who performs pretty well, but you got ZZ, of course, who's obviously the most charismatic.
Oh, ZZ's going to come in the top 2, I think. I think it's going to be down to ZZ and what's-his-face.
I think it's probably going to be the big... I don't even remember their names because they're all so fucking generic. But the huge guy, the big fucking yeti of a dude. Even if he doesn't make it through the competition,
He got eliminated this week.
Really? Okay, so I haven't watched it yet, and you spoiled it. No, he didn't. Fuck you. God damn it, Getter. Mine is... Anyhow, Vince will probably sign him anyways because, molestodons, damn it.
Probably. Oh, there's apparently spoilers for Tough Enough.
One other thing. Tyson Kidd and Natalya were on Talk as Jericho and discussed 2 big things. Number one, that Shawn Michaels sought out Tyson Kidd to give him advice, apparently completely unaware of his connection to the Hearts. And things got really awkward at one point, but Tyson did end up giving Brett's number to Shawn, and Shawn left a voicemail as Brett was not getting on a plane, and that kind of started the whole, reconciliation. And also, the Hart family reunion, the first mass gathering since Stu Hart's funeral at WrestleMania 26, that Vince McMahon versus Bret Hart match, or whatever it was, the Hart family basically causing a ruckus, trying to change the match, arguing, Bret getting mad at them, Vince finding it funny, one of the aunts telling off Johnny Ace at catering because she thought she was getting free food and apparently she wasn't on the list or something like that.
God. Alright.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall at that meeting.
It's just so awkward.
Alright, you know what it's time for.
Yep. Alright, time for the 15 minutes. There were a whole bunch of big things that have happened this week in wrestling. The first I'd like to talk about is WWE's Beast in the East miniature pay-per-view, which was Sunday morning. Did you guys watch it?
No.
Omega?
This is going to be the worst 15-minute time limit
I
ever.
know. This is really bad.
Alright,
so
we lost Omega. What do we do? What do we do? Panic, panic, panic. I'm just kidding. It's fine.
I know. It's fine. So I'll talk about it. So it was Brock Lesnar versus the New Day, or Kofi Kingston, rather. Destroyed him in 3 minutes. It was a hilarious match. Exactly why Brock Lesnar should not be a normal week-to-week competitor on the show, and why there should be more people like Brock Lesnar who can come in, kick ass, and leave.
I don't disagree with that at all. I wish he would show up a little more often just to hang out and intimidate people and stuff. But as far as fighting, yeah, maybe once a month tops. If that
We're talking
much.
Omega. We're talking about Brock versus Kofi.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was kind of a nice thing.
It was kind of a nice thing.
Did you see it?
I saw the little fence post come out and poke through his mouth there. Oh, we're losing him. That's what it is.
Tell us, Omega. Tell us. We know, but here's the thing. What's the thing? Tell us. Aww.
Yeah, I knew it.
He's riding the fence so hard it broke the internet.
Yep, there you go. Let's see here. So the next match was, it was only 3 matches on the card, and the second match was Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens for the NXT title.
I did see clips of that, and I cannot wait to get on the network and watch that whole thing because it looked just absolutely brutal and fantastic.
It was an okay match. It was
really.
It wasn't like, oh my god, I'm like going nuts. He hit Bloody Sunday and people like lost their minds. But beyond that, it was he comes out to the face paint and comes out to the streamers, which everybody and their mother is saying, well, I guess the WWE is going to start copying that now. We have to get the streamers out, and it's like, no, they're not going to do that. Maybe at NXT, but no, they're not going to do that. So, I mean, it was a good match. Balor won, new NXT champion. This was supposed to be Hideo's spot, but God forbid he gets injured, right?
Yeah, still, I think this is a sign that Mr. Owens will be wearing the United States Championship.
Yeah, here's to hoping.
I think overall it was a good special. I think they need to do more of them. I think in general it was just laid out to be good. I think the commentators weren't really on a stranglehold as they usually are, picking fun at each other and everything. They were focused on the aura of the setting, the moves in the ring.
They were not in the middle of the ring. They weren't in the arena either, which I actually liked.
It probably gave them more focus. I think to just sit and watch the monitor and just call stuff. That's basically what it was. And plus the fact that, again, the setting, they had more to explain. They had more to kind of get into than the usual, whatever garbage they had going on Raw.
This speaks to giving England the pay-per-view that they have been craving since 2001's Insurrection. In my opinion, I think that if you aired it as a network special, and you aired it in the middle of the day, and you had a replay, at night, I think that it would do quite well for them to be able to, have a bunch of UK wrestlers go over there and kick the shit out of each other and have a nice title match and do exactly the same thing they did here, but over in the UK. I think that would be sweet. And then turn this into, and then make this like tribute to the troops, So moving on, here's the other bit of wrestling that Yankum didn't watch. The New Japan pay-per-view, which was over the weekend. Did you see any of this at all? Did you not watch New Japan? I forgot.
I was busy this entire week with stuff and things. I don't know if you know this, but my wife was having a baby, and then my son had to cut the baby out with a knife and stab my wife because she was turning into a zombie. Wait, no, that was an episode of The Walking Dead.
So you weren't busy and watching The Walking Dead instead?
No, I was running back and forth to Indianapolis.
I figured as much.
Terrible place. Don't go there.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And there's a hotel on the south side that is just absolutely disgusting.
All you had to say was south side.
I did not know that the south side of Indianapolis was terrible the one time that I stayed there. Boy, oh boy, am I never making that mistake again. Beyond that, it was the New Japan pay-per-view over the weekend. What was it called, Omega? If you're still there.
Sorry, repeat that.
What was the New Japan pay-per-view over the weekend?
I believe it was Dominion, wasn't it?
I believe so, yes. Dominion 7.5 for some reason. So Dominion 7.5 had a bunch of matches on it. They were really cool. Shinsuke Nakamura came out as a ninja, which was amazing, and had a great match with Goto. And the match of the year happened at this particular show, which is why we're talking about it. And that was AJ Styles versus Okada. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, they're doing a bit of shuffling with the IWGP title. It's changed hands quite a bit this past year, or few months, since January, that kind of thing. Not that I'm complaining. I think it's interesting, this dynamic they're building up between, Okada and Styles and Tanahashi, and kind of makes you wonder if a fourth person will get into the mix.
That would not surprise me. I'm not sure who.
Also,
not Tanahashi.
Yeah, also consider the fact that we're 6 months into the year, which means it's only another 6 months until the big January 4th show, or right. January show.
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom 10. Jesus Christ, Wrestle Kingdom 10. I was watching it. I remember watching 6. Ugh. Time just goes by really fast. Anyway, Naito turned heel. That was great. Kushida grabbed the junior heavyweight title, which was cool. Togi Makabe beat Ishii, which was surprising to me because Ishii was out with the injury, which is why Togi ended up with the never open world title in the first place. In the hilarious match of the year, Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Toru Yano. It was great, and if anybody else says otherwise, you are a student.
Certainly a lot worth watching. I kind of wonder if they're going to have more synchronization with Ring of Honor, and perhaps even, well, probably not Global Force, since they're busy with TNA and everything now. But
right. It was good. It was a great show. There's one more thing that I'm forgetting that we were supposed to talk about.
Oh, there was a leak of some sort.
Oh, yes, the leak. Have you seen this, Yankum? Please tell me you've seen this.
Nope.
And of course, Yankum completely unprepared for this particular show.
There's supposed to be 4 people here, okay? There's only so much I can do. I'm on the technical side. And plus, this is clearly NetJester's fault for not being here.
Yeah, happy birthday, buddy, by the way. I was going to leave it to the birthdays, but there you go. And happy birthday to NetJester's mom. I don't know how I know her birthday, but call me.
Yeah, I'll try not to keep her out too late.
I was going to go to your sister joke there, but I decided not to. Let's get right into this leak. So apparently, on the Reddit side of things, someone got their hands on the cheat sheet to give to commentators about what they should and should not say. This looked relatively old, probably 2010 of some sort, maybe 2011 at most, about terms and things that you should be saying and doing as a commentator. Some people are laughing about it because it's, oh my god, it's another script thing leaked. And I think it's cool. It's actually a lot of the advice that I was given when I was doing commentating. All put onto one thing on one concise piece of paper, which I never had. And it was it was an awesome resource for those of us who are looking to get into commentating and doing things in a more professional style for wrestling commentating. I mean, it's not something to be laughed at necessarily, because obviously, they have an agenda. The WWE agenda, and there are things on there, and there are words on there, and there are little bits and tweaks and things that they like to make sure that the WWE product sounds like the WWE product. But you could generally take this advice, and you could find it online. It's like 9 pages, 10 pages long. It's an Imager album, and it's it's a really good read.
Is it just basic stuff, like, these are the talking points?
No, it's not even that. It's like, things you should say, things you should do, your mannerisms, everything, controlling everything that you're doing out there, and giving you advice on how to do it all.
So basically, it's a broadcasting how-to.
Well, it's very directive. It's things like, for example, I think one of the lines is, people hate it when you talk during a movie. We make movies, not every moment needs to be filled with talk. Things.
God, if they would only follow that.
Yeah, I mean, when you read a lot of it, it's a lot of good advice on paper, peppered with. It's almost indicative of kind of what WWE is now, because it's a lot of good, solid stuff, and then there's McMahon's notes peppered in, and they're not god awful, but they really just kind of bring the whole thing down. Because it's just nitpicking at certain things, and, it's like, there's good stuff, like, you have the opportunity to be a storyteller, too. The eyes and ears for the fans say things like, I saw CM Punk at the Waffle House this morning, and he was so rude to the waitress, he was that upset, stuff like that. But then, it'll be like,
I'm sorry, I thought you were going for a Lawler joke there. And I'm kind of disappointed that you did not.
Well, that was a line. That's an actual line in the thing.
Really?
Yeah. Well, this is an old sheet, by the way. This is from like 2010.
Yeah. So, there are things like, avoid words like, obviously, I tell you, and no doubt. Everyone hates being told what to think. E.g., John Cena will never trust Randy Orton. Should be. Do you think John Cena could ever trust Orton? It's a question as opposed to like a statement, and it's a bunch of other stuff. Avoid cliches, talking sound bites, less is more. Make what you have to say more important and make the audience listen to you. And there's like a whole bunch of words to avoid. Like belt, strap, feud, war, performance, house show, backstage, pro wrestling, international, shot, acrobatics, interesting, DQ, talent, a bunch of other stuff.
So, I mean, for people who believe the commentators just kind of go out and get their checks and whatever, it's got to be a harder job than they let on. And, McMahon's always in their ear. And that's really kind of the problem. That's why I kind of bring the blame back to McMahon, because he's the one directing them over the earpiece. He's the one kind of telling them to focus more on themselves, really, than the match sometimes. Because you know how the dynamic of them all making, ever since we kind of had heel Cole, it's kind of been a thing of, they kind of rag on each other and kind of have their own little personal conversation while the match is going on. And Titus O'Neil was even, if you saw that on Raw when the primetime players were on commentary and Titus was calling everybody out for, I'm trying to call the match. What are you talking about? I'm not sure what that was all about, but Titus has always been entertaining on commentary with a wash rag.
Oh yeah, you always have been.
Talking about the wash rag?
Yeah, he's talking about the rag going to the pay window. that stuff. It was really funny. And I really enjoyed it, and Titus took him to task. I really hope Titus gets a color commentary job after this. He should be the next JBL.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think any of them are particularly awful at what they do. I just think it's kind of hard to juggle all this stuff. If I granted they've been doing it forever now, but it's a lot to kind of keep in mind, and it's a lot to kind of, and it's always changing. That's the other thing. This is a 2010 script. It's probably had so many edits since then,